Alright, so this is going to be a deconstruction of the Acer v3-571g-6407. So what I have started out with before I decided to record is I have taken the hard drive out from here, the wireless card from here, and the two RAM sticks from here. Plus I have also taken out 7 screws, well, 8. And now I will continue, assuming I can find the screwdriver. Somewhere in front of my face it would be. And also, battery, obviously, you can see. Also anti-static, connected to the desktop. And what I will be doing with this deconstruction is dusting out the... Where is that screwdriver? Dusting out the computer and replacing the thermal paste with some of this OEM that comes with the Cooler Master 2012. Or not 2012, 212. Not the Evo. And I'll be right back after I can find that stupid screwdriver. So, 5 seconds later, it was on top of my desktop. And let's take out the disk drive. And place that. I have some room back here. Watch out for the wireless card. Alrighty. So, to continue with this, that screw has been unscrewed, that one's been unscrewed. The continuation of this deconstruction, just take out these screws, and then carefully flip it over to actually get them out of the recessed holes that they are in. Could also use a magnet or something else small to pry it out of there. Don't recommend a magnet, just something that could be used. For the most part, the main things you need to watch out for with a magnet are the removables like the hard drive, RAM, video card, but there's also other things in here that can and will be screwed up if you get a magnet too close to it. Also, demagnetized screwdriver. Let's go ahead and get these little screws. I need a smaller screwdriver for that. Go ahead and get just that. And put that in the special screw spot pile. Because usually when taking apart a laptop, or most electronics, they will use probably a total of about 5 screws, in my experience. And about 80% will be all the same screw and can be used universally when putting back the laptop, putting the laptop back together. Oh, and also, well, as always, the concern of losing a screw when flipping it. Tappy tap. There's one. There's 2. 3. 4. Should have counted how many were supposed to drop out before this. Okay. And that's most of them. but it looks like 2 did not fall out. There's 1. Looks like the last one possibly did not come completely unscrewed. Or wasn't unscrewed at all. That's another thing to check. There it is. Alright. Shouldn't be working on hard surface, should have a cloth down, but I have a lot of stickers on the front, so I don't care about the finish. Let's go ahead and flip this over, open it, and this trackpad should be removable now. Now you can use a small flathead or a longer fingernail, as I am doing. The SD card, dust protecting doodad. Okay. Now carefully. And lay that up here. Now, that is just a connector for the USBs. That might need to be removed to get to the underside of the motherboard. The BIOS battery does not look like there's anything else. So in theory, right now, I should be removing just this screw and be able to remove the keyboard. I may be wrong. There are 4 screws that I left, 2 by this hinge and 2 by this hinge on the back, and they may still be holding the keyboard in. Okay. That clip came undone. What else do we have here? Why don't you want to come up? Ah, more clips. Yep, I'm going to have to undo those other 4, which is unfortunate. Go ahead and put this back partially. Oh, hey. Well, that could have been problematic. Because I've once taken this laptop partially apart, but I never got all the way because there's a piece of plastic that was already cracked connecting one of the hinges, and I was afraid of breaking that. But, seeing as how it's reacted with that, I feel safe removing these screws next to it. So, we got 3 more screws to have fall out here. There they are. And flip this back around. Ooh, yep, there goes part of it. Oh man, okay. This needs to come up again. Come forward. Okay. This is removable. But this little connector. Oh, I wish I had something for this. Needs to come up. Oh, no, wow. Connector's on the other side of the trackpad. Apologize, I took apart a computer the other day that was the opposite. Okay, now keyboard can come out a little more. Go ahead and disconnect the keyboard. Probably keyboard lights. No, this keyboard doesn't have any lights, unfortunately. So I don't know exactly what that's for. Okay, now which hinge was it that was cracked? Also, put the keyboard over here. So it appears it is this one, as this is not connected at all whatsoever. Nada. Okay. So Kensington lock connected to the plastic frame, connected the hinge. I guess that's alright. The fan does look a bit dusty. Let's go ahead and... Is this going to be easy, or am I going to have to flip it? I'm going to have to do the latter of the two. Oh, yes. Go ahead and unhook that from all those. Also do that. Okay. I want to disconnect this monitor soon, so that it will stop being such a problem. Come on, there we go. And same with you. Come on, I disconnected you. And these are the two wireless cables. Okay. Now to disconnect the monitor. Wow, I hardly recognize those as being the speakers. Actually, get a bit more. Come on, cable, work with me. Aerial view. Just a quick peek. Cable, thank you. Put that. That's actually pretty decent. Okay. Now, what more? Disconnect the mic. I only know it's the mic because it's labeled as such. Otherwise, it would just be a miscellaneous cable. Come on. There we go. Mic disconnected. We'll also need to disconnect the right speaker and left speaker. And unfortunately, it appears, oh no, the display cable is right here. I wonder if I could have that screwed in through the bottom still. So this hinge is still in because it's not cracked. Oh well. So those are the screws for the SATA connector. We have, appears one. Is that it? One screw? That's probably the opposite side of the 630M. But it looks like we have one screw. Come on, disconnect. There we go. Pull that ribbon cable out. I can only see one, no, two. Two screws that need to be removed to possibly take this motherboard out. That is a non-standard screw. That's a shorter one, remember that. And we also have this one. The threading is the same, but the length is half. Same with that one. So far I only encountered 3 of those screws. Oh, no, that's probably just, those appear to be screws just to hold on the connectors. Let's go ahead and take the white cable all the way back and put that behind the monitor. Ooh, not weighed down like it normally is with the other components out of it and only the motherboard in it. Let's see if she comes up nice and easy. Any screw? Is there a screw underneath this tape? Because it appears to be held in still. No, no screw under that tape. Put that back then. Wireless cable, stay back there please. Fine, don't. See if I care. Trackpad connectors. Come on. Are you just stuck in your slots? You probably are. Okay, so lift up gently. Connectors, stay out of the way. Let me put my screwdriver down. Let me tilt the screen forward a bit so that it is less likely to fall backwards. Grab that here and pull out and up. Perhaps. Oh, don't tell me I need to take that speaker out. I'd rather not. There we go. Go around the cable, make sure there's not a cable underneath connecting it still. Pull the... Oh, I feel a connector is still connected. Where are we connected? Oh, hello. Okay, so this tilt backwards. And that's probably the overall power for the display. I may need to get a flathead in there. My nail's just not cutting it out this time. Ooh, that was not pleasant. Okay, I'd rather not lean that against the screen. There we go. Just coax that out. Thumbnail and bottom. Hold the motherboard. Wiggle it from left to right ever so slightly. There we go. Motherboard is free. Laptop's gonna fall backwards if I don't hold it. Put that gently on the table. Okay. Laptop. Put this on its back on the floor. Don't step on that. Note to self. Now, really, that would explain the heat from the 630. Let's go ahead and take this heatsink off. Does look like the fan has a bit of dust in it. Take that screw off halfway, or at least part way. 1, 2, 3, 4. When doing your CPU, be very, very gentle with it, and do not entirely take one screw all the way off or put all the way on in one motion. You can put far too much stress on it doing such. Oh joy, these come out and their springs aren't attached. Put those upside down up there. And also be careful with your threading with all these screws. Taking out is not quite a big deal, but putting back on is. Boy. There we go. Finish taking this out. Ooh. So how's that connector done? Springy, springy. Does that just stay connected, but is a spring to push down on this? It appears as such. Looks like 1, 2, 3 more screws to take this heat sink off. And also one power connector for the fan. A 3-pin power connector. So I should be able to see this fan in Windows, but I cannot. Actually, that's also a different screw. I'm going to have to look for it in my screw pile then. But they will be the ones on top. And also this one appears to be a bit longer. Screwdriver, stay up there, please. Come on. Thank you. Actually, this should just come up. Thermal paste, letting go. Ooh, 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 ooh. You're bending. Why are you bending? Let go. Thank you. I didn't connect or disconnect the power connector. Joy. Put that back down. I'm going to have to rebend that. Criminy. Flathead. You pop that out. There we go. Okay, thermal paste and everything let go. And there's that extra screw. Where'd it go? Now this thermal paste actually didn't feel that bad, but that is way more than needs to be applied. So that's a thick 630M. That's the chipset, and this is the i5 3210. There's the wireless connector, hard drive connector, the RAM slots. Yeah, that's dry, but that actually wasn't bad. And how? Oh, are you joking me? Well, this is rather unfortunate. It appears I need to take out 4 very small screws to... Oh, there's a part with the broken hinge screw holds. And also that. Why'd that bend? The thermal paste was holding on so much that it had bent. Oh boy. Really hope that doesn't affect my thermals. Because this copper, it appears to be hollow. I much would have rathered that be solid. Move the motherboard back slightly. And again, we'll be back momentarily. I need to grab a rag to get this old thermal paste off. Man, they really slabbed it on there. Well, okay, so back momentarily. So, back again. I went ahead and took all the thermal paste off of the CPU and GPU, and also cleaned off the heatsink. The procedure for this is just using a lint-free cloth and just let gravity be the amount of pressure you use. It's a rather idiotic way of putting that. Just very gently. Repetition, not sheer force. Just gently rub it off. Obviously, you should be much more gentle with the CPU and GPU than the heatsink itself, but be gentle nonetheless. Now, I'm going to be taking the 4 screws on the underside of this fan out so that I can collect any dust that it has collected. Okay, now to pull this up, get the tape to let go. Come on. There we go. Oh, there's tape holding this on too. Yes, there is on the underside. Alrighty, and you may find this odd, but I will be using a pair of tweezers to go ahead and collect the surprisingly minimal amount of dust that I can from the heatsink fins. Okay, so that all looks fine. Now, you may or may not have been able to see clearly the amount that I pulled out, but the other day I did this same procedure for a friend's Dell Inspiron 17R. I believe that's the model number, I'm not completely sure. And this is what came out of his. It looks like felt. It doesn't feel it though. But anyways, yes. If you are starting to experience overheating issues, that may or may not be one of the contributing factors. So put that back on, push this back down so the airflow is directed straight out. Okay. And let's put those 4 little black screws back on before they get lost. I just realized I'm not connected. That's better. Now, you don't need one of these, but if you're going to be working in a carpeted, dry, static environment, it is very recommended. and also to always work on a hard surface. Well, for the most part, these on a hard surface, but for the case of the laptop, if it is a glossy black case like mine is, you may prefer to put a rag underneath it while you are working on the undercarriage. So now we will put the heatsink to the side again and bring this back to center. And we will be applying, especially compared to what they had on there last time, a very small amount of thermal paste. What this does is just closes any of the very small gaps that may be created from the I can't think of the word from the heatsink to the CPU. Imperfections, that's what I was thinking of. More so of the heatsink than the GPU or CPU. So, procedure for this is just a very, very small amount. I'm going to be doing a line down the length of the CPU. Okay, and that's honestly probably more than should be applied. And then a very, very small amount in the center of the GPU. And that's all you need. Compared to, apologize for the shaky camera here in 3, 2, 1. Compared to that giant glob that I peeled off from before. Oh, other way. Okay. And now that we have all that done, be reapplying the heatsink plus fan. So just try and get this centered over top of the CPU and GPU. Push down gently, get that spread a little bit. Very gently when you push down. Grab your screwdriver and springy screws. And first off, just get them threaded. Okay, that one's in. That one as well. That as well. And that one also. Now the screw for this one. Oh boy. If I'm not mistaken, was this. Get that started. Don't wrench down on any of these. And just start with about one full rotation, 1 to 2 rotations of each screw, going from one side to the other. And just going around. Once you hit bottom, just stop right there. Do not tighten any tighter. and then just very gently just see if you can get any out. Just not too hard. Don't try and get a full another quarter turn out. This one all the way down, and it's on. So there is the heat sink. Need to put these screws back in. That is the correct one, yes. No, threading is smaller, meaning it would be these three. 1, 2, and 3. Why they used a different threading here, the world may never know. Well, Acer probably knows. So, get those back on. And when you are reconstructing the laptop, or any device, all the screws only need to be snug. You don't need to wrench down on any of them. There we go. And then also, something I did not do with my friend's laptop, unfortunately, is make sure that you have every single connector completely inserted before you move on to the next step, because I had forgotten to plug in his wireless card, and unlike mine, which is just underneath this cover, so that's just 2 screws to get to the wireless card and connect it, his required you to basically be able to get to the motherboard, so you had to take out all the screws on the bottom of the chassis just to get to the wireless card. So that was quite the pain. So this is done, and I need the chassis again. Put this screw back in the pile. Ooh. I really wish those would screw back in. Maybe I can try a little bit. Anyways, grab the screwdriver, put this back a little bit further. Okay, let's go ahead and slip the motherboard back in. It needs to go back a little bit further, come on. Is that in? Something's not liking something. The display connector. Oh yes, and also we got to tilt this up for this power connector, which might have been what was in the way. that. And also this mic cable. That is it. This needs to come up above too. Okay, so get this back in. There we go. That time it lays flat. Except for the display connector wanting to go underneath again. Okay, back and up. There we go. So, since that's been a pain, let's just go ahead and connect that one right now. Come on, there we go. And inserted. Firmly inserted. Now, wireless. This needs to go right there, as far as it can go, and then these two pull back. And each laptop has a different procedure for these connectors. These ones pull out, and then the cable comes out. There's a little plastic piece underneath the cable, but my friends, the Dell, had a little tab that would flip up. I personally like that better, but personally, I don't build computers. Well, desktop, but they don't have the same connectors as a laptop. We have a half-length black? No, there are no half-length blacks. So that one's gotta be there. And this one had a screw, I believe. Maybe. Or does that screw in from the bottom? This one looks more likely, and I believe it is this one, because lifting this up, yeah, that's how it is. Okay, so half length. And let's screw those in. Again, can't state this enough. When doing this, oh, tape, why'd you go there? When doing this, just be very gentle with everything. You can't really be gentle enough. So, that tape tapes that there, and this tape tapes that there. And this white cable slips through here. And I would just recommend feeding it all the way through, and then putting it back under the tape if it flips up. Okay, let's also do the black wireless cable, so we can just get that out of the way. And that slips in through here. There we go. Just put that in its groove, and it's good to go. Now, what's next? Got that connected, got the mic connected. Gotta connect the speakers. I would like to hear things without plugging in a 3.5 audio cable. Granted, these speakers aren't the best, they're rather small, but speakers are speakers, and who would expect a great sound system from a laptop when it doesn't boast in its product description that it has a great sound system? And I, compared to others that have heard this laptop, personally like it. It doesn't sound all that bad in my opinion. But what are you gonna do? This black cable needs to be put back into these little clips. So it stays out of the way. This needs to be slipped back down into that little groove. And looks like we are done here, I believe. Hopefully. I don't want to deconstruct this laptop again. And this keyboard. Something with your keyboards, when you have it out, recommend flipping it upside down and lightly tapping the back, because oh my goodness, the amount of stuff that may fall out is startling. Okay, so this, make sure the connector is ready, bring the cable down, pop that in, and then bring these back. Okay. Ooh, 80C rated cable. Sorry, but playing a game for an hour plus, I know that this laptop can easily reach 95. I know that's rather high, and that's one reason I was deconstructing it. Also, I like to know what the inside of my machines look like. But I might just be a freak like that. A freak that way, I guess, would be proper. Oh my, these connectors. They get pushed in when you're trying to put the cable in so often. It's almost like you need 3 hands to do this, but you don't have the room for another hand. Okay. Yeah, there we go. It's not in all the way, but you gotta get started somewhere. There we go. And pull back. There we go. Okay. So, keyboard is now connected. It's going to take some coaxing to get down. Come on. Stay down. Darn it. Why are you raised? Come back up. Let me look at you. That cable wasn't quite all the way down. And the screen doesn't want to seat properly. There we go. Hold that down. There's little things that'll pop back in there. Okay. Okay. Huh. It looked like there was a bend in it, but there is not. Okay, and then all these snapped down on the side. That's the only thing there interesting. One black screw goes right there. Maybe. Come on. It was a black screw, wasn't it? I remember having this issue before. It didn't want to start threading. Ah, come on. Oh, ha. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, that sucks. Joy to the world. Watch where you put your screws. Okay, come on, connector. This is obviously not the correct screw hole, because that's exactly where the screw goes into the keyboard. So, I could have sworn that a screw went over here. It wouldn't have gone there. And that falls straight through. That does too. Am I losing my mind that there was one there? And then, yeah, that falls through. I must be losing my mind that there was one there, because I don't see where one would go. This hinge. Oh, I could just take these screws out. They're not grabbing anything. Looks like it's really only being held in by two from the other side. But, c'est la vie. Let it be. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know why, but I wanted to take apart this laptop less than a week after I had got it. So, I did. I took it apart. I only got to the point that I got the keyboard off. Okay, that's partially in. And once I noticed that that hinge was all over the place, oh, I got sick to my stomach that my week-old laptop was broken. So, I decided to just put it back together and hope that it was fine. And it was. I have no issues with the hinge. Oh, what is that? I need to clean my screen anyways. Okay. So, now, this thread's fine. I'm really glad I only put a half-length one directly into the motherboard, because this one calls for an times X. These are all, well, most of them are labeled M2.5 8X. So M2.5 is something to do with the threading, and 8 is something to do with the length of the screw. So with all this, I'm glad I only put a half length in there. So, yeah, now I just need to put the trackpad on. So, that is oriented. Oh, no, this needs to pop down slightly. And then, let's see, this has a flip connector where you just slide the ribbon in and fold that down. The rest of the laptop does not. Come on. There we go. And then snap that down. Ooh, got some thermal paste on the back. One of my fingers. A couple of my fingers. Also, would recommend immediately after putting thermal paste on, if you have any on your hands, to immediately wash it off. I am not. It's just recommended. Looks completely back together, right? Well, not done yet. Ooh. Okay. That hinge isn't held down until I get screws on the bottom. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put 2 screws into that hinge so I can get it held down. Hello, come on. Find something to catch, please. Please catch. It caught. Good. Very good. Oh, dearest me. Oh, the screen was on top of the RAM. See, now that hinge bothers nobody. Screen was on top of the RAM, but everything is still there. Okay, now we can close this, flip it over, and start putting things back in. So, the RAM can only go in one way because of the notch. Just slide that in until it's fully inserted, and then push down until you hear a click. Well, that didn't click very much. Hold on, let me do that again. Well, mine decides to be quieter. Anyways, most of the time you'll hear a distinctive click, but you can see two metal tabs. You heard that click better. We'll latch onto the RAM to hold it down in place. Let's go ahead and put the wireless card in. Again, only goes in one way because of a notch. Put that down. It is spring-loaded, so it'll come back up. That's why I'm holding it. And then, let's go ahead and put the white wireless cable underneath all these little tabs that hold it down. Come on. There we go. And this one isn't labeled. Joy. I don't remember. I'm thinking that is... I believe with the antenna cables, the little piece of paper on top of the wireless card will tell you, well, this one tells me, but it only tells me in words. Most will tell you with the color that is displayed. Come on, get under that plastic tab. Come on. Get under there. I know you want to. There we go. But I'm hoping that that won't ruin the card, and it will only just not function. Okay, another half length goes right here, and oh dear, dearest me, I have many leftover screws. Oh, that's not good, but it could be worse. If you have any left over, try not to have any left over, but what can you do if you end up with some? But if you do end up with any left over, just keep them in a safe place, and if you ever decide to take the laptop apart again, try and find where they go, unless you want to take it apart right then and there. Most of the time, it won't affect the computer, but I cannot promise anything. I cannot promise that my computer will not be affected. From everything I saw, it should be fine, but nothing is promised. Stop screwing these in and just drop them into their holes. You can also now put the disk drive back into place. I'm looking to replace this disk drive for one of those hard drive extenders where you can put a hard drive in the same spot that a disk drive goes. That way I can have my OCZ SSD as my boot drive, as I already do, and have a terabyte of storage, because that would be rather nice. This screw always tends to go in rather slow. Yep. This one's always really a pain in the butt. Okay. Let's not forget to put these three... Oh, come on. These three little screws. That's not the right screw. Well, this one is smaller than the other ones. It is still not a small screw. I should only have black screws left at this point, but I don't. I have two half lengths. I may be able to watch this video to find out where those go. I may not. And if I cannot, like I said, just keep them in a safe place until you are able, or feel like even, taking your laptop apart again. Because assuming all is well, those should not be 100+% needed. Black cable in the way. Put that in so we can put its screws in. Actually, no, that goes on the other side, so that still needs a screw. There still needs a screw. Here still needs a screw. And here. Is that the last of them? Is that the last of us? Oh, we have two left. So, what I am left over with is two half-length silver screws. That's unfortunate. So, now just screw these back in, hand tight. No need to over-wrench them. Just make sure they're all in. You wouldn't want to forget one, flip your laptop over, and lose that screw forever. may or may not be talking from experience. That is up to you. Okay, that's in. 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 Oh, there we go. That's in. That's in. So, just give them all a quick turn, just to double check that, one, there's a screw in all of them, and two, that they're tightened. That's in. That's if you don't trust yourself, as I don't. If you trust yourself, go ahead and just flip it over. Well, actually, we're not flipping it over yet. This needs to go the other way, and also still needs to go on. Come on. These little plastic tabs that need to go on. Come on, there we go. So that is on, and just need that screw and that screw. Also, if you take any of these screws out and you see blue stuff on them, don't be worried. That is what is called Loctite, and it just holds your screws in better. And there we go. That seemed like a bottomless screw. After that, we just grab the battery and put that in. Let's see if she boots up. Got that. Starting Windows. So far, so good. Turn the camera for just a sec so I can enter my password. And started. SSD booting. Yes, I am online. No, Razer, go away. I don't want to make a profile at this time. Let's see. Yes, it'll be minimized. Let's plug my wireless mouse in so I don't have to have my hand in front of it. System things, real temp. Let's see what our temperatures are. Our temperature is at 45. And the GPU is at 39. Is the GPU even enabled? It is indeed. Well, I'm gonna run a game for a little while and see what its max temperature gets to. What it has gotten to in the past, because this remembers even while in game, it has gotten up to, I believe, 95, and that is with my laptop raised off of the surface and giving it all the airflow that I can. So, I'm gonna go see how this thing runs. And I have to plug my my mouse back in my desktop just to end the video. Thank you for watching my deconstruction of the Acer v3-571g-6407.